Okay, so Michael Bloomberg, who owns Bloomberg TV, former mayor of New York, is back in the news. And boy, oh boy, he's going to get the boomer label if he's not careful. The youngsters aren't going to like this, but he's back. He was recently on CBS and contributing via an interview. And this is what he said about calling for an end to remote work. And this tension is still there. And so this is what he said. He said, I will say we are paying our employees for 5 days a week of work. And he goes on to say, now, if you think that those can be done at home, I don't know. But every golf course that I've heard about in the last 3 years has had record summers, okay? It's funny, but it's tragic. So is this a hunch? Or is he right? Well, folks, be careful how you attack the billionaires when they go off, because sometimes they're right. And he's right. A March study by Stanford University researchers found that remote work powered a huge boom in golfing, with visits to golf courses surging on weekdays and mid-afternoons compared to pre-pandemic times. What else do you need to know? In another Stanford survey, employees reported that they felt they were 7.4% more productive working from home, but managers said they believed employees were 3.5% less productive and working remotely. All right, so let's unpack these two pieces of data. Look, if people are working from home, you can't see them and monitor them completely. Now, some companies have tried to do this. Remember the lady that got laid off because she got up from her computer in her own kitchen to get some pasta? That was bad. And I thought that was ridiculous. So if you're not monitoring folks like that, well then, I'm doing some graphic design today and, going to work on that. And now listen, let me just say this. If you are a reasonable, responsible adult and you work on your own pace, if you will, and you want to get up early or work late the night before and get your work done so that you can do a 11 a.m. tea time, I got no problem with that. Now, understand what I said was that's if you get your work done and your work done is on time and it's excellent and you maneuver some of your personal schedule to do that, then maybe that's what was happening. It's also very possible that the golf courses are swelling because people are like, hey, I kind of got a do nothing boring job anyway. And I'm not being monitored and life is short and I'm getting paid. I'm going to go play. Do I like that? No, I think it's cheating on your boss. I think it's unethical, but I mean, is it happening? You bet. Which is why you've got a lot of leaders who are very suspect, and there's data. Again, you look at the golf course data. There's the data that would make a Michael Bloomberg and a lot of other big names. Jamie Dimon been famous at JP Morgan, talking about remote work, not liking it at all. Elon Musk, famous quote, when he took over Twitter. So, these are hardworking people. And they want you to bring it to the same level that they bring it. I think that's, again, normal. To want someone to put in the effort that you put in. Is it reasonable when you're a billionaire and you have no life? And you can say, all right, I work these hours, I expect everybody else to. No, I don't think that's reasonable. But you can see why they're suspicious, and thus the tension, right? Now, on this other piece of data, there's a big divide here still. These numbers are somewhat silly. Employees reported that they were 7.4% more productive. How do you even score that? Managers said that they believe employees were 3.5% less productive. So, why does this gap in the data, the tension that informs the data exist? Because it's out of sight, out of mind. Okay, let's say you're in a relationship and you're a little insecure and your boyfriend or your girlfriend goes out of town on a trip and you don't talk to them for 2 or 3 days. It's pretty normal to kind of go, wonder what's going on. I hope they're being faithful to me out there, or spouse. I'm just telling you. Now, we shouldn't do that, but I'm saying that's the normal reaction. Same thing with parents. When I haven't heard from my kids in a couple hours, my teenagers, and they're out driving around, my mind wanders very easily and naturally to, what are they doing? I don't know what they're doing. And the same thing is true for a manager or a leader. I got 12 people working for me. I'm only seeing them once or twice a week. How do I know they're not watching Netflix and eating ice cream at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? And by the way, you don't know and you can't know, which is why, again, as a parent, and I'm walking through this with teens, I've gotten to the point now where I go, you know what? I can't monitor it all the time. My parents never knew where I was. We didn't have devices and all this. And it's just a level of, I'm going to have to trust that I've raised them right. And also at the same time, know they're going to make some bonehead decisions, which life will quickly teach them a lesson. And I hope it's going to be okay. I mean, that's parenting in a nutshell. Like when they're little, you could totally control them. Then you lose control and it freaks you out. All right. So that's the human condition to wonder. So what managers have got to do and leaders have got to do is combat that paranoia, let's call it that I just unpacked, that we all deal with. And you've got to manage that and go, all right, I know that my team is checking in when I ask them to check in. I know that they are delivering results because as a manager, you should know. So while you can't know what they're doing all day, you can know, are they delivering the results that you've asked them to deliver? And so you operate in what you know. I know this, and I know this, and these are measurements. This is communication that I've put in place, and that's what I know. And quite frankly, it's kind of all you need to know, isn't it? I know leaders. I know that this is hard to deal with. It's hard to trust this, but that's what you got to do. All right, I want to pivot really quick to another story here. New headline, hybrid workers are more likely to feel burned out than fully remote workers. There's always new data coming out about this, and so it's back and forth. I think it's very subjective, but let's look at this. Deloitte did a study, and this is a direct quote from the report. Hybrid workers are more likely to feel disconnected from on-site colleagues and say that their collaboration efforts are ineffective. They're also more likely to be distracted by non-work activities, to have difficulty accessing work files, to feel stressed and burned out, and to have a hard time prioritizing their well-being. This is according to the data. And the reason is these hybrid workers lack the structure of the in-office worker or the fully remote because they're back and forth between the two. Jana Arbanis, vice chair of Deloitte's U.S. telecom, media, and entertainment sector, speaking for Deloitte on the study, she said, I do think that the lack of structure that many people who are navigating this hybrid return to work is causing some additional stress. A quarter, 25% of hybrid workers said they felt distracted and disconnected compared to their on-site colleagues, whereas only 13% of fully remote workers felt this. A quarter of hybrid workers felt there was ineffective collaboration happening compared to 9% of fully remote. So what's interesting, the numbers are negative, skewing towards the hybrid. Some days in the office, some days out, versus totally out of the office in the fully remote situation. A hybrid structure does create the most satisfaction because you're getting the best of both worlds. You're enabling employees to get greater flexibility. And this is where the rub is. Every human wants more flexibility. Let's just put a different word in there. Strike flexibility and let's put freedom in there. People want more freedom. And the freedom is what is so attractive. But if you don't know how to balance the desire for freedom, it's going to end up catching you and you're going to be more stressed out.